Hi guys, welcome to the United Devils podcast. I'm Suraj, and today we will be taking a look at the Manchester United versus Chelsea game on Saturday. Manchester United go into this game with on kind of a winning streak after beating Newcastle United and Paris Saint-Germain back to back, obviously. And beating Newcastle was particularly important because Manchester United had just come off the back of a very poor and humiliating defeat to Tottenham Hotspur, and we immediately went into the international break after that. So it was very important to get a win right after that loss, and United did get that win. And the best thing is we carried on our momentum against PSG, and that must have done a lot of good to our confidence and the dressing room morale, and just silenced uh, all the critics and journalists who said that there's a lot of rift going on within the dressing room and whatnot. So the PSG result was a much needed one, and I think that's the perfect result we could get before we faced another top side like Chelsea. Chelsea had an excellent transfer window, but they won't be happy with the start they had in the Premier League. They've had 2-3 all draws to West Brom and Southampton. They then lost to Liverpool, and even the opening Champions League game was a nil-all draw to Sevilla at home. So they enter this United game on the back of two consecutive draws. That was the Southampton draw and the draw to Sevilla. So uh, I think what we have seen from Chelsea is that despite having some very good attacking players like Havertz and Pulisic and Werner, it will be really difficult to contain these guys. But they have some defensive frailties behind, and we need to be exploiting that. And I think Solskjaer will definitely have his eye on that as well. Uh, so coming to the lineup, one thing I would like to say is that Solskjaer received criticism for his uh, lineups against Newcastle and PSG before the game began, because Pogba was on the bench, Van de Beek didn't get a start, and uh, so it fans weren't very confident about the lineup, but it turned out to be the right one. Uh, Juan Mata and Dan James both started against Newcastle, which did raise a few eyebrows, but that turned out to be the right decision. So so I think this time we should be more patient with his lineup choices in terms of the Chelsea game. So starting in goal, I'd go for David De Gea, obviously. Man of the match against PSG, pulled off some amazing saves, and I think Dean Henderson is obviously not ready for the Premier League to be starting against a side like Chelsea already. So I think David De Gea keeps his place in goal. Uh, I think we will go back to a back four for this game, and we will avoid playing a high line because we've seen what Werner has done to to the Southampton defense last week when the Southampton defenders were a little far ahead. Werner just spun them around, and uh, having a centre back like Harry Maguire in that situation would be a little problematic because Maguire isn't the fastest, so we'll have to play uh, a deeper role. And I think Solskjaer will go for a back three again against Leipzig midweek. So maybe maybe a rest for Tuanzebe, so who was unbelievably good against PSG. So I'd go for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, and Alex Telles at left back. Credit to Luke Shaw, he was also excellent against PSG, but I think we go for a back four in this game, and Telles takes his spot. In midfield, I think despite McTominay and Fred's brilliant performances, uh, Matic might start, uh, but I wouldn't be surprised if McTominay gets a start ahead as well, because McTominay has been doing an excellent job in the last two games. what he has been doing is he's been acting like a screening centre back, and he's been giving no space at the beginning of our defensive third. So that's excellent. Um, so it is a tough one between Matic and McTominay, and I don't know what Solskjaer will choose, and I wouldn't be surprised with either. But I'd go for Matic, giving McTominay a rest, and start McTominay against Leipzig, because Leipzig have a very tactical setup, and we need uh, McTominay to just enter the tactical setup and cause havoc over there. So I'm going for Matic as the defensive midfielder. I'm going to put Pogba on the bench again, because I don't know what's happened in the last two games, but in the beginning of the season Pogba was quite average, and then the last two games where he's been coming off the bench, he's had an excellent impact off the bench, and I think that'd be something even Chelsea will be wary of, because uh, as it is, they'll have a tough time containing Bruno, and then when Solskjaer brings players like Van de Beek and Pogba off the bench, they're going to be even more frightened. So I'm going to leave Pogba off, and I am going to play Donny Van de Beek. I'm going to give him his first start in the Premier League, and I'll give him his first start in a midfield three with Matic, Donny Van de Beek, and Bruno Fernandes. So my reasoning over here is that Chelsea have a lot of defensive frailties, and we will be playing the likes of Mason Greenwood, Dan James, Marcus Rashford up front. Now, what Van de Beek can do is he can create space um, in the final third or the middle third, the area between that, and let Marcus Rashford just exploit that space in there. And we know what Rashford can do when he has space, and even Dan James can be lethal when he has space to run in and cause trouble. So we need Van de Beek to be creating that defensive gap, and we know he can do that because he's done that many times, and Chelsea can succumb to that, and we can get some good goals in there. So that's my midfield three. Up front, uh, Solskjaer has said that Mason Greenwood looks positive, so which indicates that he might get a start. As for Cavani, he said he has to have a final talk with Cavani before he can make a decision. But I think either way, Cavani should be starting. Martial obviously is suspended because of his red card against Spurs, so I'm going to go for Marcus Rashford on the left, Dr. Marcus Rashford MBE on the left, Edinson Cavani in the middle, and Mason Greenwood on the right. For the simple reason that Marcus Rashford has been a terror for uh, Chelsea every time he's faced them. I think in the last, I'm not sure about the stat, but I think he has it's about 4 goals in the last 5 games or something. I'm not sure, but he has an excellent record. He scored 2 times against them in the Premier League last season, then again twice more in the Carabao Cup with that insane free kick against them. And Edinson Cavani, he obviously gets a start, and what I would like to see is Alex Telles bringing balls into him, and Cavani being dangerous in the air, because Chelsea, I feel like I'm saying this over and over again, but Chelsea have a very poor back line, and an experienced man like Cavani is the perfect person to be exploiting that. And obviously, as Socha said, sorry to disappoint critics, but Mason Greenwood is completely professional, and he will start against Chelsea if he is fit to do so, and Solskjaer has said he is fit to do so. So that is my starting 11 for Chelsea. To reiterate, it's David De Gea in goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the right, Maguire and Lindelof in the middle, Alex Telles on the left flank. Then I'm playing a midfield three of Matic, Van de Beek, and Bruno, and up front I have Marcus Rashford, Edinson Cavani, and Mason Greenwood. And my score prediction would be I'd go for a United win, a 2-1 win for us. So if you like the video, like, comment, share, let us know your thoughts on it, and if you have any topics that you'd like for us to discuss, then please let us know. Thanks.